Welcome back to case study number 2. Welcome back. We are talking all about influenza today. So if you will, get out those notes that you started yesterday on the left side, and we are going to take down some notes about influenza. Okay, otherwise known as the flu. So this is a video that is going to be on Canvas for you as a link. Please watch it so that you can better understand the flu pandemic of 1918, which is by far the most widespread and known of the flu pandemics. It was caused by a new influenza virus that infected 3 million people, a third of the world's population, causing a flu pandemic. It was a big deal, and there were a couple events in the world's history that kind of contributed to this. So one of the things was that we talked about this a little bit if you were in class with us on Monday or Tuesday, but we talked about how at this time World War I was ending, was going on and also ending. So as the soldiers came home or went from area to area, they took and spread this virus with them as well, which made the effects of the newly mutated virus that much worse. So when and where was the outbreak? So again, this was not one single event. There have been many flu pandemics or epidemics or outbreaks all over. We have an outbreak every flu season, so every winter we have an outbreak of the flu. We know it, we expect it, we get flu shots for it to try and prevent it, but it still happens today. There are a couple worldwide influenzas that occurred in the 20th century, so the 1900s. 1918, which you watched the video on, killed at least 50 million people worldwide, making it the worst influenza pandemic in recent history. In 1957, we had H2N2, which was a new strain of the virus. So remember, viruses and bacteria both, they can mutate their DNA, just like we have mutations, they have mutations. They also have processes that help them mutate their DNA for better survival or just by random chance. In this case, we had a new emergent or a new disease that had mutated in East Asia, and the estimated number of deaths was 1.1 million worldwide, so that was again pandemic. And then in 1968, H3N2, the estimated number of deaths for this was 1 million worldwide, and it targeted the elderly, or the elder population, similar to how COVID did with the pre-existing health conditions that the elderly often have. It made them much more susceptible to the disease and much more, or much less likely to kind of overcome the disease. And then there were two in the modern era of virology, or the study of viruses. The latter two, so the last two. But if you remember, you would have been pretty young in 2009, but there was a strain of the flu called H1N1, and this was a big deal. About 150,000 to almost 600,000 people worldwide died during the first year. Globally, 80% of the deaths were estimated to have occurred in people younger than 65 years of age. That's a big deal because for the most part, the flu had not targeted, but we saw more deaths in the elderly population that got it than the younger population. So this was a big deal that the deaths were happening to younger people who are more thought of as not safer, but better able to overcome the sickness. So this did not happen. So let's look a little bit more into influenza. What are the symptoms? We have fever or feeling feverish/chills, coughs, sore throat, runny nose, stuffy nose, muscle or body aches, headaches, fatigue, vomiting, and possibly diarrhea. Treatments, we have antiviral drugs that may be given. They do not necessarily target the virus as far as killing it like our antibiotics do. Instead, many antivirals will actually hypen up your immune system and help it to better fight the virus that's inside your body. So this doesn't exactly take away the virus, it just lessens the symptoms and shortens the time you're sick by a day or two. So could you get over the flu if you didn't have any pre-existing health conditions by yourself with your own immune system? Probably. And it would just take a little bit longer than if you were to get the antiviral drugs. Do we still have the disease today? Yes, we do. We very much so still have the flu today. So this is the influenza positive test reported by the CDC in the US. So if you will, look with me. We're working on reading graphs and charts. So this is a week-by-week basis. So that's our y-axis. Our x-axis here is the number of positive specimen, or the number of positive people. If you look, if you look, it says 2020, the 4th week. So this is how you read this. 2020, week 2. 2019, week 52. Remember, there are 52 weeks in a year. So each one of these represents a couple of weeks worth of data. So if you think for a second, we start over in our year in January, and then as we move down here, these are more of our summer and spring months. So this graph is really showing you how seasonal the flu really is, right? So we've got lots and lots of cases in the winter months, and as the summer months or the seasons start to pick up in their warmth of spring and summer, we see less and less cases, possibly even all the way down to 0, right? The different colored bars here signify the different strains of the flu that we have, but if you just want to look at it as a bar and the whole, that can work as well. The number of positive specimen you can assume is the number of people positive or that tested positive for influenza during that week. Okay, so the takeaway from here is yes, we still have the disease, and we even have a season for the disease, flu season. What causes the disease? So it's viral, and the problem, or it's caused by a virus. The problem with this is that the virus mutates often, which is why we get the different strains, right? So if we go back here, all of these were different strains or the same species, so they were all influenza, but they were different, had a different DNA makeup than their neighbors. This is why we have new flu shots each year. So each year we try to predict the mutations that will happen in the flu virus to try and prevent the population, whoever gets the shot, from having it. If you look right here, we've got an electron microscope picture of the image. This is a diagram of it. Remember this, it mutates often, and it's a big deal that it mutates often because we have our bodies, once we get it, we build up our defenses for it, the antibodies and our memory T and B cells, so that we're better able to fight it. But then it'll mutate and we no longer have those antibodies anymore, and so we are just as affected by the new mutation as we were the old mutation. We then fight off the disease in our bodies, make those memory T, memory B cells, and then we are not immune but better able to fight it off until it mutates again. So it's an endless cycle of the virus infecting us, our immune system responding, then having antibodies, but then the virus mutating again, infecting our bodies, and it's just a cycle of that. Okay, what are the methods of contagion for this disease, aka how does it spread? The flu virus spreads mainly by droplets made when people with the flu sneeze or talk. So here's my picture right here, somebody sneezing, I've got little viruses coming out of the sneeze, and they're saying funny things like freedom or where to next, and then maybe one wants to cause a pandemic, so it says I want to travel the world. And it might, because it's common, or it's not common, we've had many flu epidemics and pandemics over the history of modern science, as in we were able to identify that it was indeed the flu that was causing people these sicknesses. Fun facts, so flu season is between October and May. We saw that in this graph right here. Flu season is between October and May. The flu is contagious before symptoms start. That's also why it's a big deal. It's also why it spreads pretty quickly, because if I don't know I'm sick, but I am contagious, I might still go out and infect other people before I even know I'm sick. Flu symptoms can start abruptly. We know this. We probably experienced this. 1 hour you feel fine, and then the next you no longer feel fine. It takes up to 2 weeks for the flu vaccine to work, so get your flu shot early is what it's saying. You need a new flu shot each year. We talked about that because the viruses mutate quickly, and each new vaccine has the predicted modifications of the virus. The flu vaccine doesn't cause the flu. This is true. You should not get sick from the flu vaccine. Here's my sources. That's another important thing. So these video lectures were kind of a way to model what I expect from you in the next couple days for your own research about a virus. You want to tell me the virus, maybe show us a video or read us a paper about the virus, something interesting. Tell me when and where the outbreaks were. Tell me what the symptoms are. Tell me what the treatments are. Do we still have the disease? Tell me that. What causes the disease and what are the methods of contagion? And maybe some fun facts. So again, and the very most important thing is that you're citing all your sources. You are probably not experts on whatever disease that you pick, so please do not pretend that you knew what you Googled. Give other people credit where credit is due. Have a great day, guys. This is my credit for my presentations. So you know I'm also, or I was not, an expert on the flu or cholera until I did the research. Have a great day, guys.